Hello folks, a slightly more controversial video that has been a long time coming today, and that is Amazon's Warhammer 40,000 series, in my opinion, is a bit of a terrible idea. This may be a long, rambly video, but I wanted to just bring you a little bit about my own thoughts on this big topic that I've kind of shied away from recently. But I read an article earlier on this month that kind of made me go and write this script and get involved in the discussion on what Warhammer 40,000 is going to be when Amazon take it over and take it to the big screen, or the small screen, since it's going to be a TV series. So, this is the article in question. Let's have a read of it, shall we, together, and then we'll pass some comment with my own, shall we say, my own thoughts, right? Okay. So, Games Workshop and Amazon have until December 2024 to agree creative guidelines for Henry Cavill's Warhammer 40,000 film and TV series, or they won't happen. Alright? So, not great, if that's what you're looking for in terms of Warhammer 40k, but there we go. And have faith, they say. Now, this is an IGN article, so please take what they say with a pinch of salt. There are a lot of weirdos working for IGN, but I won't go into that right now. I hope this Wesley person isn't one of those, but let's move on, shall we? Games Workshop has reiterated that Amazon's hotly anticipated Warhammer 40,000 film and TV series will not happen unless both companies can agree creative guidelines by December 2024. That's basically what it is, right? Creative guidelines. What are you allowed to change and what are you not allowed to change about things going forwards? Speaking in its annual financial report, Games Workshop discussed the deal that granted exclusive rights to Amazon films and television series set within the Warhammer 40,000 universe, with an option for Amazon to license equivalent rights in the Warhammer Fantasy universe following the release of the initial Warhammer 40,000 production. In December 2023, Games Workshop said it would work with Amazon for a period of 12 months, ending in December 2024, to agree creative guidelines for the films and television series to be developed by Amazon. And that agreement will only proceed if the creative guidelines are mutually agreed between Games Workshop and Amazon. I know, are we seeing a time when Games Workshop are actually the good guys in one of these stories? Let's see. We will update you accordingly, Games Workshop said, and like a Space Marine might tell a guardsman anxious about the upcoming battle. That means Games Workshop and Amazon have just 5 months from now to get themselves sorted out, or the Warhammer 40,000 movie and TV series fans of the Grimdark universe so desperately want might never happen. I do not agree with this. Alright? I do not agree for 1 second that every single hobbyist out there wants to see this happen. And I'll explain why in a moment. If the Warhammer 40,000 Amazon project moves forward, Superman actor and Warhammer 40,000 superfan Henry Cavill will be involved. The Hollywood actor is set to star in and executive produce the Warhammer 40,000 franchise across all of Amazon Studios' productions. While concrete details on shows and films are likely a way off, Cavill nonetheless sounded excited to be bringing the Grimdark universe to life. And I quote, "I have loved Warhammer since I was a boy, making this moment truly special for me. The opportunity to shepherd this cinematic universe from its inception is quite the honour and the responsibility," said Cavill. "I couldn't be more grateful for all the hard work put in by Vertigo, Amazon and Games Workshop to make this happen. One step closer to making a nigh-on lifelong dream come true." In February, Cavill touched again on the Warhammer 40,000 Amazon project, saying, "It is the greatest privilege of my professional career to have this opportunity. I can't say too much, again, it's early days still, but to have this opportunity to bring it to the big screen and to be the tiller so it can be faithful is key to me." Yeah, there we go. To be the tiller at the helm so it is faithful is key to me. And that is where I think the sticking point is coming from. We will get into the kind of company Amazon are in a moment, and why Games Workshop's choice to choose them was abysmal, but we'll get onto that in a second. This is the stuff I've been dealing with since I was a kid. This is the stuff I spent my free time daydreaming about, and as an adult as well, and I get to bring it into life. there is no greater reason that I joined the industry than doing something like this. Warhammer 40,000, yeah, we know all about that. Okay. So, there we are. There we are. Now we're into the comments and things, right? So, let's move away from that for just a second, because I have a few things that I want to go over. So, it's been a few years now since Amazon was announced that they have bought and maintained the rights to make a Warhammer 40,000 live-action series and movie. The excitement was real back in the day, especially when Henry Cavill was announced to be signed on to both star in and lead the production efforts in getting this thing made. Again, this was a time before Rings of Power and all the abominations that Amazon have come up with since then. So, we all know Cavill, right? King of the nerds and all that, and his love for Warhammer 40,000 comes out in many interviews that he does with different people. If you can make a guy in a lab to lead a Warhammer 40,000 series and to star in it, it's Henry Cavill, right? Hands down. So where is the series years on? Nowhere to be seen, and I believe we've been shown why. I think Henry Cavill and Games Workshop are not as... I know a lot of people tend to love Cavill and hate Games Workshop. I think they're kind of thinking in the same way here. I think they want 40k to be 40k when it gets made. Grimdark as well. I honestly do think so. This has led many people to believe that Henry Cavill may actually be the one keeping this thing from being made. In a good way. We all read and saw with the Witcher series, just how much he loved the source material over there, and just how hard it hit him whenever the writers and millennial idiots running the show wished to insert Joss Whedon style quips at every opportunity, rather than telling a story about Geralt and, by extension, Ciri. He was labelled by them a toxic gamer, shamed for actually liking the original material that he felt honoured to represent. He ended up I'm going to reread that bit there because my brain is not melting at the moment. This is what happens when you mark several papers and then you come in and to do something like this. He was labelled a toxic gamer, shamed for actually liking the original material that he felt honoured to represent. He ended up leaving the show he defined, chased away by these pronoun-wielding weirdos who wanted to make The Witcher for the fabled modern audience, quote-unquote. Basically, a show for their kind of weirdo. The thing is, pronoun people don't have money to pay for Netflix or go watch a movie at the cinema, mainly because they are unemployed or, for the most part, are a cancerous tumour on human society, adding nothing of value. So if you market your movie or show to these people, it is going to fail. They don't have the money to pay to see what you create. That is literally it. We've seen it time and time again, with video games, with movies. As soon as you make anything for this fabled, weirdo modern audience, right, it fails. Why? Because they don't have the money to go and see it or back it. That's it. Name me one, I'm going to use the word woke, even though I hate using it, it's just such a stupid word. But name me one piece of woke media that has been financially viable. Go ahead. No, again, we're wasting our time, aren't we? There isn't one. So then Henry Cavill moves over to Warhammer 40,000. And wouldn't you believe it, the show's progress towards it being made slowly grinds to a halt. I honestly believe, right, I am not in any rooms that matter, nor do I know any of these people, but the signs are there that Henry Cavill is facing the same issues with this new Amazon show that he did with The Witcher. A bunch of modern audience chasing freeloaders, tourists in our hobby who couldn't give a monkeys about the lore of Warhammer 40,000, attempting to make a show that alienates the very people who built Warhammer 40,000 in the first place. Us. And of course, Cavill won't stand for that. He said it time and again in interviews, respect the law. And it is at the top of his to-do list when it comes to this project. At the end of the day, though, the money is not his, and he does not own the rights. Amazon will make the show they want to make if this thing goes forward. But let's remember, Amazon made the abomination that is the Rings of Power. They made it for these same alphabet modern audience weirdos who have no money, and the show tanked in both ratings and reviews. Rings of Power would never have been made if the Tolkien family exerted as much respect for the great man's work that they did decades ago. Unfortunately, as younger members of that family exert more control over who receives the rights to the property of Middle-earth, we will see more abominations like Rings of Power being made. But here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. I think Games Workshop actually realise how big the stakes are here. They are massive. Everything is on the line here. This is Warhammer 40,000's first introduction to the mainstream. And if they get it wrong, they tank their hobby. I'm serious. And that is where I believe the Amazon Warhammer 40,000 series is right now. In a tug of war between the talent and passion of Henry Cavill, with Games Workshop backing him, and his love for Warhammer 40,000, and the modern audience chasing airheads at Amazon who wish to pull 40k in a different direction. Make no mistake, the stakes are that high. Whatever Amazon puts out will dictate the direction of Warhammer 40,000. Perhaps forever. I'm serious when I say that. What Warhammer 40k is going to be very highly linked to what this series and film are going to be. And that is why I refuse to believe that Games Workshop really believe and really want Amazon to go ahead with changing it in any sort of way. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there who say, listen, no, this is Games Workshop. They don't care. They just want the money, and they want all of the money now, and they're willing to just go away and give it to Amazon and let them ruin it, and let them insert, female custodies into the lore and things like that, right? They don't care. Well, I beg to differ. I think that Games Workshop know that having Henry Cavill on side is the one thing that's making sure any of their fans will go and watch this thing when it comes out. That is how far eroded our trust in Games Workshop is. The only way we will go and see this thing, or respect it, or put money behind it, is if one of our own is involved, not just involved, if one of our own is helming the project. And Henry Cavill, I'm sorry to say, well, not sorry to say, but you know what I mean, he is one of our own, right? He's somebody who loves the hobby. He's somebody who absolutely paints his own models, does his own armies, reads the lore, knows more about it than many of us actually do know, because he's got lots of time to read the novels between jobs and stuff. So, you know what I mean? Like, this is a guy who is at the apex of what we want in a show. It's him leading the helm. I think Games Workshop know that if they let Amazon take the piss, like Netflix were allowed to take the piss with The Witcher, Cavill will leave. He's shown he'll do so before. He'll leave and go, listen, I'm not putting my name to this. Listen, best of luck, but I'm not going to do this. I'm telling you now. That's where he's going to go. That's what he will do. And Games Workshop know that. And they know that if Henry Cavill leaves, so does every single piece of credible audience members that may have watched this, or may have put money behind it. They know. We leave with him. As soon as he's gone, we go, okay, this is going to be dumpster fire. This is going to be another Rings of Power. This is going to be another corporate, shill, cash-in, alphabet people chasing abomination, where they try and move something into the modern era for modern audiences, quote-unquote, that don't actually exist. And not only that, it would tank the entire setting. If Amazon are allowed to do to Warhammer 40,000 what they did to Middle-earth, it tanks the entire setting. It's done. It's cooked. It doesn't have the staying power of a Middle-earth. Middle-earth is gargantuan in size as a property. Okay? Warhammer 40,000 is gargantuan for war games. For war games. And in the UK, yes. Everywhere else, though, not really. If we're being honest, not really. Okay? I know a lot of us would like to put it on par with something like Star Wars. It isn't. It isn't. Okay? Or Middle Earth. It isn't. Or Harry Potter. It isn't. It isn't an A+ franchise. They want it to be. Games Workshop want it to be, which is why they're bringing in Fem Studies and all these other nonsense things that may pull in more people who are, you know, normies who may come in and like it, right? Because they don't want us here. They've never wanted us here. They don't even want you in their stores, dude. They don't even want veterans and long-time hobbyists in their bloody stores. So why would they want you anywhere in this hobby? They don't. They want new people. But I think even Games Workshop are not stupid enough to make decisions that make Henry Cavill walk away from this project. Because if they do, the entire thing is cooked, and even they know you can't grow anything in poisoned soil. And if they let Amazon do what Amazon want to do to Games Workshop, that soil will be poisoned forever. And that means nobody earns any money. Okay? So are Games Workshop the good guys here? No, not quite, alright? They're doing this on their own. They're doing this for their own reasons. They're doing this because they want Henry Cavill to bring us in. Because they know they need us to back a project like this to make it popular so that it spreads out and goes to more people and they get to make some more of it, right, as it goes on. And it becomes a, shall we say, a mainstream name. And then once they've got the mainstream love, that's when they'll cast us off. That's when they'll take the IP and do whatever they want with it. They'll bring in female space marines. They'll turn the whole thing into a weirdo's wet dream. They'll bring in furries. God knows what else will be in the setting. I'm telling you now, it will happen. It will happen. Once they've got the mainstream fans that they want, they will cast us off like a cancer. They'll get rid of us. Like, yeah, you're gone. Right, go and play Trench Crusade or whatever it is you want to play. Right? You're done. You're gone. But they need us to set the foundation. They need us to be the first wave of fans coming in. Because if this doesn't get off the ground in terms of numbers and reviews, no one's gonna watch it. It's gonna die a death. And if they let Amazon do what Amazon do and ruin this thing, like they did the Rings of Power, Tolkien's world can take a hit like that. Middle Earth can take a hit like that. Warhammer 40,000 can't. I don't care how popular you think it is. Warhammer 40,000 cannot, categorically cannot, take a hit of the size of Rings of Power. Okay? Just look what happened with the Fem Studies drama. Right? 40k can't take a hit the size of Rings of Power. It can't. And if what everybody in the world thinks of 40k is an Amazon show that is like Rings of Power, we may as well pack up and go home. We may as well just leave it. And that is why I think that this deal will not go ahead and why that is a good thing. I don't want a live-action Warhammer 40,000 TV series or movie, right, if it has Amazon at the helm. Or Netflix, for that matter. HBO, now you got me, alright? Now you got me. Keep the idiots who made Game of Thrones away from it, because we don't want people bailing towards the end of the series. But you get, like, a David Chase, the guy who wrote The Sopranos. Can you imagine a David Chase leading a project like this? Right? That is my thing. It'd be HBO, David Chase, Ridley Scott, and Henry Cavill. Those would be the four entities that make Warhammer 40,000 stuff going forwards. Give them all the money you can. HBO, just give them it. Give them all the money. That's what I would do if it was me. Okay? In fact, the very first project I would do would be a Gregor Eisenhorn series. It would be a TV series following the Inquisitor Eisenhorn. Going up the galaxy. Literally, I'd tell the story of the first book. All 3 books, actually. All 3 books in a TV series. You know? Expand on things. Yeah, expand on them. Bring 1 or 2 more Space Marines in there so you get that eye candy of, here's a Space Marine, ha! You know, that kind of a thing. And even make the Space Marines, and Cavill would do this, even make the Space Marines timeline accurate. There are no Primaris yet. That's what I would do. right? That's where I would go with it. If you were saying to me what are you going to do, it'd be a very high budget retelling of the Eisenhorn novels, right? With Cavill as Eisenhorn. He would be there as Eisenhorn, going about the galaxy, doing his thing. That's what I would do. And then from there, you can go and tell stories about, don't tell any of the main stories. Don't do the Horus Heresy. Don't do anything like that. You go and you make new stories. You go and you get like you create your own Space Marine chapter. That's what I would do. I would have my studio. We're going to make a new Space Marine chapter. We're going to tell the story of this chapter as they go about the galaxy, getting involved in all of these wonderful stories with all of these dreadful things that are out there in the universe, right? Do a Guardsman story, like the Bad Batch. Dude, Star Wars have been doing it for years. The Clone Wars. Do something like that of dudes like in the Clone Wars. Like, normal. If you replaced all of the troopers in Clone Wars, Star Wars Clone Wars, with Imperial Guardsmen and all of the Jedi with Space Marines. Dude, tell a story like that in a war zone in 40k somewhere. You would be absolutely swimming in money, right? That there is a lot you can do with Warhammer 40,000. I'm not saying retell the Clone Wars, by the way. I'm saying do a show of that ilk in 40k. Dude, you'd make so much. You'd bring everybody in. Everybody. We would give you all of the money. We'd pay for that. We'd get HBO subscriptions to see that. Dude. That's what you should be doing. And that is what I think Henry Cavill is pushing for. And that is why I think even Games Workshop aren't stupid enough to kill the golden goose. Alright? They're stupid enough to treat us like shit, yes. They're stupid enough to introduce certain things to the golden goose that won't kill it entirely, but will start to turn it into something that they want for modern audiences. Yes. Female custodians, I'm looking at you, right? But what they're not stupid enough is to hand their golden goose over to Amazon so Amazon can take it behind the woodshed, do bad things to it, and then put a bullet in the back of its head. That is why we have Games Workshop on one side with Henry Cavill, and on the other side of this struggle we have Amazon. Amazon want to pull it into a direction chasing the weirdo modern audience, and Games Workshop want to pull it in the direction that Henry Cavill wants it to go in, because they know they need us to make this thing a success, at least at the start. Once we've done that, and they don't need us anymore, then they'll get rid of Henry Cavill, they'll get rid of us, and they'll bring in the new fabled modern audience, because they think that'll be a success. It won't, as we've already seen, but that is where we are. And that is why I think Amazon's Warhammer 40,000 TV series and film are a terrible idea, and shouldn't happen. And I think if they don't happen, if we get to the December December timeline cut off, and it hasn't happened, that will be a good thing for the hobby going forwards. I think Henry Cavill should go off and do his own thing, and when somebody competent and of means comes back and can do a show like this and a TV series and a film like this, then we invite him back and he gets to do what he wants to do. But Amazon aren't the people, dudes. They are not the people you want behind this at all. Alright? They are not the people. Again, in an ideal world for me, it's David Chase who wrote The Sopranos, it's Ridley Scott for the artistic vision, and Henry Cavill to make sure that everyone's following the guidelines, right? And give that to HBO. That's what I would do. Anyway, I love you all a long time. I will speak to you tomorrow for some more Hobby Nightmares. What would you do with a Warhammer 40,000 TV series or whatever it is that we're going to be doing? Do you think Amazon having all of the rights is a good thing or a bad thing? Let me know in the comment section down below. I love you a long time, and I'll speak to you soon, alright? Have a good one. Bye now.